We are Gathering of the Geeks, podcast and YouTube show built around the things we as geeks all love. Hashtag we gather on Sundays. Thank you for checking out the one with Devils and Reese's Pieces. I'm one of your hosts, Emmet, and I'm joined by the Ted Lawson, my coach Beard, Chris Evans. Chris, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thanks. Gathering of the Geeks is available on YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. Just search Gathering of the Geeks, and you will find us. What's up, Eric Grabs, Cookie, Phil? How is it going on this fine Sunday evening? Chris, we ask a lot of deep questions in our shows. You know, we get pretty heavy. You know, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? All that kind of jazz. Do you think E.T. can survive longer than Georgie against Pennywise? Mm-hmm. What's your favorite Halloween candy?
You know, I don't really eat candy. It's really rare when I do, but I do love Reese's peanut butter cups.
Aren't they just the best?
They are the best. I think they are.
Yeah, like, and you can't get them anymore, like peanuts and peanut allergies and all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know if my kids barely bring them home, but we buy them as much as possible. Hey, how's it going? You get so many. Like, you can get the thin cups, you get the bigger, thicker cups.
Have you had the ones with the potato chips in them?
No, I don't know if we have that up here.
Yes, we have the ones with potato chips in them, and they're kind of special. They're also much larger.
A little bit of crunch in there.
Yes, I like them. Again, though, I rarely eat candy, but when I do, that's what I go for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have some now that are shaped like bats or like mummies.
Pumpkins, I think, too.
Yeah, you got that down there?
Yeah, we have some that. Yeah, everybody, like the like I said, chocolatiers or whatever, they make the Halloween-shaped candies because why not?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be your favorite candy all time?
Reese's Pieces? I think Twix Bar. That or Twix Bar I go back and forth on, but you know it's tough because there's something about Halloween where there just always seems to be more candy in the house, even though obviously when Halloween's over the candy doesn't go away. The stores still carry it.
No, they don't.
I always hated the toffee. Like, what do you guys got? Toffee like caramel, like chewy caramel. You got chewy caramel down there,
Probably.
And it's like a little square. Do you have those? Or like in a weird Halloween wrapper, and it's probably about the size of like a Cheeto or something, and it just rips your teeth right out when you're chewing on it.
Oh, those are the best kind.
I hated those things where they were ripping your ear out.
Those teach you not to eat candy.
Exactly.
Sons of Miller says Twix is God tier.
Mm-hmm.
Cookie says Reese's peanut and butter popcorn are my favorite snack. That is a good time. I actually like. Well, I was a kid, but chocolate almonds in popcorn. That's a good time too. But I also like
my wife likes mixing M&Ms into her popcorn, so I get that. Yeah.
RAMC over here, they have Oreo popcorn, or maybe it's cookies and cream something. I think Oreos and cookies and cream are the exact same thing, but they keep selling it to us under different names. They think, oh, this is new. It's the same thing. But anyway,
bastards.
They have a popcorn like that. It's not too bad. Grab says, the older I get, the more I just want a Snickers bar or Hershey Kisses. Oh, those Hershey bars.
I'm not the biggest fan of a Snickers bar or even a Mars bar. I don't like either of those.
I like anything with peanuts, so I'll eat a Snickers bar.
Yeah.
I like how I eat a Hershey. I like the Hershey's almond bar. Or, as Don Draper says, it's the best thing you can ask for.
Oh.
Crunch. It's for me.
Crunch bar. That's an underrated chocolate bar, I think.
What's a Crunch bar?
Yeah, I think it's just like it's the blue wrapper, and I think it's got Rice Krispie treats in it. Is it the Rice Krispie treats?
I don't know what it is, but it's
in that
it's
one.
Nice.
I think it's Rice Krispie treats. I like that one too.
I don't mind those. Yeah, I don't know if we still have those here. I don't think I've seen them in a while. The Mars bars with almonds are the best. Can't buy them any longer here. Never seen those.
Haven't seen that either.
There's people like Baby Ruth bars too. I've never understood love for a Baby Ruth.
That's peanut and caramel and chocolate, isn't it?
Isn't just a Snickers bar without the peanuts?
I don't know if we have Baby Ruth up here, or it's not readily available.
Eric says Reese's or Snickers for him.
Mm-hmm. What's your least favorite one? What was that thing you got in your Halloween grab bag? You said, "Oh man," you just throw it away right away.
I really didn't eat the candy.
Yeah.
I don't really care for dark chocolate stuff. Like, that's something I will not eat.
Yeah.
I won't eat that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. No, the Three Musketeers is a good one. A lot of people love these. This is another one I don't get because I feel like it's a variation of a Snickers bar.
Is that what? I don't know. I don't know what that one is either. I've heard of it, but I don't know if we have that up here.
They used to have fun commercials.
Mm-hmm.
Butterfinger is the one I don't understand. That one I think is really popular because of The Simpsons.
Yeah, or we had commercials up here with like cavemen saying something about Butterfingers. That was pretty trendy for a while.
Chocolate with orange toothpaste. Delicious. Dr. Loomis should have handed Michael Myers a Snicker bar. Nah, he doesn't eat. He just preys on the souls of the innocent. He says Heath or Mounds always went in the trash. What are Mounds? Is that like the mint things?
I always hated Almond Joy.
Yes.
Almond Joy.
I hate coconut anything.
Yeah.
Unless it's coconut milk, like in the Starbucks drink I get, because I can't taste it. But I don't eat anything with coconuts.
What's the other? There's another coconut one, isn't there? I can picture the package. It's like white. I
would say it's called like coconutty or something.
Yeah, it got light blue and white, and I can't.
That's Almond Joy.
Maybe that's all. Okay, that's why I don't like it. It's the same thing. I just don't remember it. Yeah, so I hate that. I got no time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that Almond Joy.
No. Oh yeah, Mounds are coconut. Okay, yeah, definitely did not eat those. Not for me.
Tootsie Roll. Yeah, Bounty. That's it. That's the
Bounty?
one. Yeah, the Bounty. That's the one I was thinking of, Ian. Thank you.
Those are paper towels. What is a Bounty?
Yeah, Bounty Bar. That's
Milk Duds, Tootsie Rolls, immediate trash can candy.
Tootsie Roll is what I was thinking of, the caramel thing that messes your teeth up.
To be fair, I think most people, when they buy candy to trick-or-treaters, they actually don't pay attention to what's in those packing, the big bags.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of do because I think, well, I might eat this later. So I look for some with a Reese's peanut butter cup in it. Or I do like Mr. Goodbar for whatever reason.
Mr. Goodbar?
That's what it's called.
Oh, we don't have Mr. Goodbar.
I like this one. They don't call me fat for nothing. That's fair.
So what do you buy to give away then? Do you do chips or do you do chocolates or candy to give away on Halloween?
I actually don't pay attention. I'm not part of that.
We do chips. We're the chip family because we like having leftover chips.
That's fair. I think last time we got like a variety bag of a bunch of different chocolates. And of course, we're always out, so we just throw it in a bowl and put it at the front door.
That's what we do too most of the time.
Yeah, but I think one kid usually comes and just takes it all.
Yeah, that's right.
There's always like one bastard kid who does it.
Yeah, he's probably like 15 years old.
That kid's probably never seen the movie Trick or Treat. He should. But, the Reese's. The Reese's Take 5 is a good time. I can agree with that too.
What's that?
It's like 5 different candies in one. Hence the name Take 5.
Is it all Reese's?
Yeah, it's like all Reese's products in one bar.
We have.
I believe that's the thing.
In a bar.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that's the same thing.
We have like Reese's Pieces Roulette, where it's just like a bag of. It's got the peanut, it's got the regular, it's got ones full of peanut butter, all in one bag, like little pieces. We like that, and that's good too.
That sounds fancy. We don't have that. Mm-hmm. You guys got fancy gambling candy over there.
Yeah.
Graham says, "Let's do ice cream flavors next." I have no opinion on candy. I have even less opinions on ice cream because I don't eat it.
Yeah, man. My opinions on ice cream are very localized to a local ice cream place. Like my favorite is called Moose Tracks.
Moose Tracks?
Yeah, it's.
I've actually heard of this because I have other Canadian friends that like it.
It's vanilla ice cream with chocolate swirl, chocolate chunks, and Reese's peanut butter cups in it. So
Southern says basically it's it's a Reese's with a pretzel and caramel.
Pretzel's good with chocolate. I like that idea.
The salty and sweet thing. Good times. I can do that too. Yeah. But yeah, I have even less opinions because I don't like it very much. Not that I don't really like it. Yeah, I just don't eat it often. Strangely, I like green tea ice cream though.
Ooh, like matcha.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Interesting.
It's like if you go to Benihana, it's kind of like the dessert thing. Here's green ice cream. Enjoy after this 7 pounds of rice you've just consumed.
Yeah, that's right. Salty rice.
It just goes together really well.
That's fair.
Zeddy, I see your comment, but I can't use your one on that, so you gotta hold on.
Yeah, come up with something better, Zeddy. Well, maybe we'll do the one to show.
I think Emmett's gonna hold me to the one this time.
That's right. Please do.
Okay. Zeddy says, "Don't know what I missed, but Reeves for the Reese's for the win. Twix not too far behind."
I'm with you there, Zeddy.
Who can say no? Okay, I can.
Yeah.
All
right, Chris. What'd you get up to this week? What'd you read? What'd you watch?
I got up to a few things with the reading. We're going to talk about The Devil That Wears My Face later on, I believe, right?
Yeah, we'll leave that right towards the very end of our what we watch and what we read.
Okay, so we'll save that. I read some Batman this week. I finally read the weird Joker thing you were talking about in Brave and the Bold. I like Brave and the Bold. I like Tom King's version of Batman and the Joker. What I think is fascinating about it is that I want to say since Scott Snyder's run in the New 52, they have done their absolute best to try to make the Joker more than just a psychopath.
Right.
Like a human psycho. American psycho, if you will. They have done everything they can. And this book really pushes that limit even more because this is not a spoiler. I think it's been 3 months since this issue came out. I just read it. But there's a bit where he essentially gets riddled with bullets. He gets shot up pretty bad.
Yeah.
And he still keeps kicking. And he's healthy enough to drive Batman in his trunk or whatever, because the Joker drives. He's a human. And he throws Batman over a bridge. And he still keeps going.
Keeps on ticking.
Right. He keeps on trucking. So it's interesting to me that he can't just be a regular guy anymore.
Right.
It's kind of changing the playing field because you have all these other stories that are trying their best to humanize Bruce as even more than he was already. He's poor. He's missing his hand. Alfred is dead, etc. Bruce is beaten down. The Joker, however, is becoming a living god. In a way. It's just an interesting kind of thing there. But that was good. I enjoyed that. I'm not so sure about Joker and the porta potty. Porta potties aren't fun.
Not at a fair, especially.
not at a carnival. And like I've been to local haunted houses where that's all they have because they're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. And
it's dark, and I don't want to think about the Joker. And hanging out.
Now you will.
And also, I think I would hope he's a little bit classier than that to sit in porta potty stuff. Anyway, Brave and the Bold was good. That. I also read the new Cullen Bunn book, which I believe was called The Midnight Show.
I didn't know he's got another one. Of course he does.
He's always doing something. Yes. I'm in the Matrix. The Midnight Show is a pretty cool book. It is kind of like a commentary sort of thing. So there's a director who tries to finish his last movie, and for whatever reason, things go awry. And then years later, they're able to screen the movie at a film festival. And chaos ensues because in this horror movie, the characters that you see on the screen have found their way into our world. So kind of like the Last Action Hero plot, but monsters. And Cullen Bunn writes it. It's really, really good. I've liked it a ton. It's just fun stuff.
That just came out? Or
yeah, it came out last week.
Behind on that one.
For this week. No, it came out this week. I wasn't called The Midnight Show.
I didn't hear about that one.
I just discovered it last night. I was going through the weekly books like, well, I want to read something other than Joker in a Toilet.
I agree with you. The Midnight Show. Yeah, there it is.
I think I did read something else from Marvel, but now I can't remember what it was, so it probably didn't matter.
Moon Knight, something.
No,
something.
No, not Moon Knight yet. I'm about to do a giant binge on that because the event where they're, I think it's called Death of the Night or something. That's about to start, so I need to get all the Moon Knight out of the way.
Yeah, you need to get all the cut up.
I do. I miss him. And plus, there's a lot of people talking about the show today. That's kind of getting me hyped up too.
Oh, really? What about the shows happening?
The director had some interesting comments. Essentially, he doesn't like action, and that's why the action is the way it is in Moon Knight, where it's really like you'll see something, then it stops and goes to a story beat, like the finale.
Right.
Like that's why we didn't see the him defeating Arthur, because the director thought we didn't need to, because that's boring.
Weird. That's interesting.
Yeah. That's why when they do the character again, maybe don't get that guy back.
Get someone new.
Right. I mean, he's one of the most violent characters.
Right.
And then you get somebody who says, who needs it?
I like that.
You guys like Steven,
Who
right?
needs it?
He's funny. No. So, yeah, that was fun. I think that's all I read, though, that I could remember, other than some more, just the Batman stuff.
Yep.
Oh, Transformers. Thank you, Ian.
Yes,
I read Transformers.
That's true, yeah.
So you liked this book more than I did.
Yes.
Let's start with that. I thought so. I don't know if you and I talked about it on the show or off air. When we heard that he was doing this book, I said that Daniel Warren Johnson was going to make the Transformers sad bots.
Mm-hmm.
And that is exactly what he did. He found a way to make Transformers sad. It's not bad, but it's sad, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't want it.
I don't want it. I just want to see the robots fighting with each other and give me some cool lines like "roll out." And that's all I want. And that's not what this is.
Well, you get some of that, to be fair, but I do understand what you were talking about, and you and I were talking about it earlier today, about how specifically during like the action scene when the kind of the Transformers are all coming together and revealing themselves during the big battle. How I was thinking about it a little bit more after we were talking about it. They're in quite a confined space as well. And you got Starscream in there and Jetfire and one other one, and they're all planes.
There you go. One thing about DWJ will make you cry.
So yeah, and for me, and I think for you, I'll speak for you a little bit. It's just like it felt like there was a lot going on with a lot of Transformers in a confined space, where it was hard to tell them apart. Aside from some slight color changes,
they're not.
One of the interesting ones, I think it was Starscream, or maybe it was Jetfire, had the exact same coloring as Optimus Prime. Both they had like the red chest with the blue and everything. I was like, oh, that looks too close together for me. It's very slight issue for me, kind of telling the Transformers apart, because I'm not the biggest Transformers guy. I didn't really get into the original series or the movie much. I grew up watching Beast Wars Transformers, and that's what I watched. I really only reading this Transformers because of Daniel Warren Johnson. I'm not reading the other stuff in this world, Void Rivals, I think it's called, with the G.I. Joe, the stuff that's written by Robert Kirkman. I'm not really reading that stuff. I'm just reading this because it's Daniel Warren Johnson. When you're talking about the sad bots thing, there's going to be more sadness, and it's going to have something to do with Spike and his girlfriend and his dad and what happened to Spike's brother. Daniel Warren Johnson has no idea how to not do anything but sadness, which I'm here for. I will read any sad Daniel Warren Johnson story because along with that sadness, much like Murder Falcon and Wonder Woman Dead Earth, there's always badass action. And I think that's going to keep coming. But I do understand some of the small gripes that you might have with the first issue. But yes, I overall liked it more than you did.
I'll probably read another issue out of curiosity. And also, I have not got on the Daniel Warren Johnson train yet. I know a lot of people are, but I have not read a complete book of his yet. I've read, an issue here or there, but not enough to say, I really like this guy's stuff.
Yeah, and you're not a fan of the art style, his art style.
I'm not. This thing already has two strikes against it. Sadbots and the art is not my favorite. I will say the Transformers themselves look good, though.
Sure.
They're just similar looking. So I'll get over it, I'm sure.
Yep. Fair enough. And that's my kind of cool thing. Like, they didn't give us like a big history of the Transformers.
Yeah, don't need it.
They went in this knowing whoever's reading this should know who the Transformers are a little bit. Like, there was the slight mention, barely a mention of Megatron, where it says Meg, and Starscream's like, no, don't mention his name. Like, I'm the exact. They're very good. So there's like small stuff like that where you kind of do have to know what's happening with the Transformers. But But yeah, this isn't a history lesson, and the first ever Transformers story ever told.
Ian says it'll get better. It was setting the scene, but DWJ will focus more on the relationships and human story with action scenes thrown in. So it's like a Michael Bay movie.
So you're telling me it's Bayham?
Aggressive problem. All Transformers comics has been telling the characters apart, particularly the early IDW stuff. Starscream is the same color as Optimus in the animated show. They probably, that makes sense. But I think in the animated series, you're seeing them move in real time. So it's easier to tell this one is much smaller than the gigantic 18-wheeler dude. Or robot.
And the voices would probably help a lot with telling them apart as well.
Yeah, Heroic, and then one sound like Skeletor. Grant says, I've yet to buy any nice edition. Oh, he's talking about the Lord of the Rings stuff. I don't like his art either. Too busy for me. It's too busy and it's scratchy.
It's scratchy for sure. I would agree with that.
One has wings. There you go. One has wings, one doesn't. One has wheels. The other has wings.
That's right.
But spoiler alert, Optimus Prime is in it. I finally get to say that. So.
I was going to say finally.
Finally, it's true. Or is it?
That was my big read this week too. Aside from The Devil That Wears My Face, but trying to think about that. I actually want to go back and talk about Batman Brave and the Bold for a second, about the issue number 5 that we were talking about, and that idea about the Joker. It happened, and you mentioned Scott Snyder. During Scott Snyder's run, Tony S. Daniel was doing Detective Comics, and he was the one who had Joker cut his face off.
Yeah.
And throw that away. And that really started the idea of Joker being something more than a man. And then obviously Scott Snyder doubled down on that during his Heavy Metal run, and then the Batman Who Laughs run. And it's interesting how, I want to say that Tynan's Joker was normal-ish.
Yeah, he was. But then like Three Jokers Joker is not normal.
Right. It's got that more, fantastical nature to it. It's an interesting thing how, there is the fight for whoever's writing the Joker and how they write him in whether or not he is a man or, something more for good or, worse. Even in the movies, like we often talk about, what Matt Reeves is doing with Barry Keoghan, his Batman or in Joker, and how he's very disfigured, and how it has to be grotesque and has to be something more, and it can't just be a clown. It can't be just a guy wearing makeup and who's a psychotic or a psychopath. It always feels like they have to do something more to make Joker scary. Is that what it is? They're trying to make him more scary?
I don't know if that's what it is, or it's just a case of we've been doing the same thing for 60 years. Let's try something different, which I don't really have a problem with. You could try something different. It just, do we need to? Because if you look at some of the greatest Joker stories, he's not doing anything out of the ordinary that he would normally do.
Right.
He's just killing and laughing his way, all the way until Batman starts beating the crap out of him. That's basically what it is. The Three Jokers did do something a little different enough. It stuck for some people, it didn't for others. I know you and I both love it.
Oh, yes.
But then you look at something like this, where again Tom King is making him a horror movie villain, complete with the way he speaks, which I have.
The title cards are
right, like the silent. It's really cool, I think. But it's just kind of like, what's your preference these days?
Yeah.
And it's more and more common now that the Joker is becoming this otherworldly being in books. So it feels like the old just psycho is not the thing anymore.
Yeah.
We're just gravitating toward the Joker God, or whatever you want to call him.
Right.
Like we had the Bat God forever. Now we got the Joker God. And you think, well, Punchline grounds him. Not really. Because Punchline is a part of his, I would say, a cult at this point.
Right.
In the comics. Sons of Mjolnir says, I'm so over live action Joker, to be honest. How do you feel about that?
That's an interesting idea. Much like at the end of Joker War, I was ready for Joker to go away. And obviously he didn't go away. He kept coming around and around. I'm okay with Joker not being around because I think Batman has great villains all over. And I think you can make a Batman story without Joker. I'm not one of those people that think it's a definitive thing. But I do think there is a way to overuse it. That's fine. But I understand it as well. You know, just like Batman makes money, Joker makes money almost just as well or better. So I understand it, but I'm okay. You know, I think they can overdo it. I'm okay with any kind of take anybody has because I'll watch it, but I don't need a Joker story. And I don't opine for it, and I don't think it's a failure on a Batman story if it doesn't have a Joker story included with it.
I agree with that. I do think though, you have to have him on screen at some point. It doesn't have to be the first movie, it doesn't have to be the second movie, but I think that to have a definitive Batman, you have to have the Joker somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Which, in the case of the Batman, we already have him, so cool. If I don't see him again, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's there. I've seen him. Cool.
Yeah.
Because there are other villains, like Southern Miller says, give me Mad Hatter, Clayface, Scarecrow. I agree with all that. You know, I'll even take Professor Pig. I think Professor Pig on screen would be such a good time. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You could do that. I love Two-Face. Give me Two-Face again for the third time. I don't care.
Sure.
Just tell a good story and I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
Grabs has a good comment here, also a good point. Imagine the hate is aimed at John's more than the story. I think that is some of it, but a lot of people don't like the ending because it's kind of I've seen people say it's anticlimactic, which I don't know if I necessarily agree with. I think it has a...
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's very climactic and very emotional and action heavy.
Yeah, and the point of it, I actually really love. Although it kind of does remind me of, do you remember in Spider-Man 3 when the butler goes to Harry and says, Spider-Man didn't kill your father? It's like, you waited all this time.
Who was that old bastard anyways?
Yeah, you waited all this time, butler. What was your problem? I feel like there's kind of a sense of that at the end of this movie. Like, you knew this whole time, Bruce? But, yeah, I love Three Jokers. I like the ending.
Me too. One of my favorite Batman stories of all time. Three Jokers.
Kirk says it would be funny if the Batman 2 has another Arkham scene at the end with the Riddler and whoever the next villain is alongside the Joker as a reoccurring joke. Actually, I don't think that's too far off.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we wanted with that Arkham series that they were doing.
Yes. I think we're going to get that. Something like it where the villains are like, hey, he put us all here. You know, we're only sharing a wall here. Maybe we could figure out a way to break out.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. Phil says Professor Pig would be a great addition to the Reeves verse. Graham says Butlers in comics. That would be a thing.
Exactly.
They're always problematic for one reason or another. They either die or they don't die in the case of the Spider-Man 3 one.
Yeah, just to finish my thought on Brave and the Bold and that Joker. We were talking about the way that the Joker speaks. I love it. I love that idea.
Yes.
I like the Joker up until the last issue where he feels the need to crawl inside of a porta potty and stick his head out of the porta potty and kill a person.
I mean, it is a cool visual, though.
His face?
Yeah, it's a cool visual.
100%. But he literally crawls inside of the toilet. And a guy goes into the toilet holding his stomach like he has to have the biggest crap in the world. And the Joker comes out and kills him out of a toilet.
In Australia, they have snakes in the toilets sometimes. That's why
I just thought I thought it was just beyond stupid, and it almost ruined the entirety of the Joker that King and Garrett's were creating. I just didn't get it. I just thought it was so stupid that he would crawl inside of a toilet.
You know what's better for me about that though? When you showed me it first, the panels, I didn't realize it was a porta potty until I read it. Yeah. So in my head, I'm thinking, how did he fit in a toilet? Like a real toilet. Why did they make him?
Yeah, like he bends himself in half, and like his arms and his legs are sticking out, and he's like sliding into it. And like he's a gymnast now. Like
I thought he did like a Santa Claus thing and jumped in the toilet. That's what I thought it was until I read it and I saw, oh no, it's a porta potty. Okay, that makes, I guess, a little more sense. That humor is in the toilet.
I couldn't believe it. I was beyond anything that I would expect to see the Joker doing. Just beyond. I can't get past it. It just annoys me so much that he crawls inside of a toilet, and not just a regular toilet, a porta potty, the most disgusting toilets in all of the world. Like,
not all of the world.
In all of the world.
Not all of the world.
Reminds me of that scene from Slumdog Millionaire
Haven't seen it.
Him and his brother are cleaning out some toilets in like the middle of some village, and it just gets covered in shit.
Sounds terrible.
It was terrible for him. It worked out for him in the end, but
Zeddy says, I guess we should hush about the Batman Part 2. Yes.
hilarious.
Sons of Miller, I heard King and Mitch talk about that moment, and Mitch was not happy about drawing that.
No doubt.
He was originally to be covered in shit, but Mitch refused. Oh, but Mitch refused, so he used the blue liquid. That makes more sense. I think if he was covered, that would have been a no-go for me. Because as it is now, I can laugh about it and think, hey, that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Sort of. That's you've got to be crapping me.
I don't have to be.
When is Emmet going to display the Batman Beyond set again if he doesn't own it anymore? It's as if he doesn't own it anymore. What have you done? Anyway.
So that's what we read. Chris, what'd you watch this week?
Before I get to that, Grabs had said some earlier. He's been watching Spin City, which is a good time. And he finished reading I still can't pronounce that. He's reading The Hobbit currently.
Yeah.
I didn't know you finished the one I can't pronounce. As far as my watches go, I have been kind of on a Universal Monsters kick. So I watched The Wolfman, Frankenstein, and Bride of Frankenstein this week.
Nice.
And I'd never seen Bride of Frankenstein before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was kind of a fun experience for me because I didn't know that's where some of the famous clips of Frankenstein actually came from. I thought they were in something like, because, there's the Wolfman meets Frankenstein, and I thought they were from there where they were more comical in nature, sort of. But no, they're actually from Bride of Frankenstein. And it was really fun. I liked it a lot for a first-time watch. And also, since I watched it, I've been kind of on repeat saying, smoke, good. Because I don't, it just stuck in my head. And like that's how I've been rating things too. Movie, good.
Simple and to the point.
Yes, very. And then when I read, they actually let children pick his dialogue, essentially. Like they put words on a board. They let 10-year-olds pick what they would use or something like that. And that's how Frankenstein got his dialogue.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Pretty fun. It's good.
I don't. Is Bride of Frankenstein a better movie than Frankenstein?
That's a tough one.
Because I think my friend who's into the Universal Monsters believes that to be the case, that The Bride is a better movie than Frankenstein.
I think it's better constructed.
And
I think the fact that Frankenstein's more of a character probably helps too, because he speaks and stuff. Yeah. If you're going like better film, yes, I would say Bride is the better film. Better horror, I'm going to say Frankenstein. Because in my opinion, when we talk about the kings of Universal horror, it's Frankenstein and Dracula.
Right.
They're really on par with each other. And I would actually even say Frankenstein might have the edge because he is scary, even in a 100-year-old film, where Bela is not really. That's just my opinion, though. But they're both really good. Bride is the better film. And I agree. The casting is incredible in both Frankenstein films. Like the actor playing Henry Frankenstein, it's Clive something. I can't remember right now. He's really, really fun to watch. And Dwight Fry's in both of them. I love Dwight Fry. He played Renfield in Dracula.
Okay.
He's a great character actor. He was, I suppose. But I watched those. That I'm going to continue to watch the Universal horror movies. Like Phantom of the Opera with Claude Rains is going to be this week for me.
I thought you watched that one already.
I watched the Lon Chaney one, the original.
Oh, okay.
I want to watch the updated one. I got that coming for me. I do want to watch The Creature from Black Lagoon. And I'll probably watch Dracula for the 100th time, because why not?
Why not?
But I watched those, and I also finally got to see the new Haunted Mansion.
Oh, the Disney one.
Yes, I finally watched the Disney Haunted Mansion. And I thought that was a good time. It's fun.
Is that a comedy?
It's a comedy, but it is a bit darker than like the old Eddie Murphy one. I say old; it's like 10 years old. It's a little bit darker than that, but it's a comedy. It's a family movie.
I was thinking about that one today. We watched Hocus Pocus instead today, but I was thinking about Haunted Mansion. If that's a good one for kids.
Yeah.
Your daughter? Yeah.
Oh, she had no interest in it. I watched it by myself.
But that age
Yeah.
range would be fine. Okay.
Yeah, it's made for kids and adults to watch together. It's
Okay.
pretty easy to grasp. And one of the main characters is the little boy, which helps.
That does help.
Yes, it's a large cast though. It really is.
Hmm.
Lakeith Stanfield is one of my favorites. Is in there. He's the main character, I suppose. Rosario Dawson is in there, and it's kind of funny because I've seen I saw her in Ahsoka one night, then I watched Haunted Mansion the next. Then Owen Wilson is in Haunted Mansion. I watched Loki the next night, so I was doubling up on the actors. But yeah, I enjoyed that too. It was fun. It's nothing like amazing or mind blowing, but it's fun.
It doesn't have to be.
No, as long as it's entertaining, I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
I want to circle back to something real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Ian asked, see the new Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein casting? Oscar Isaac, Andrew Garfield, and Mia Goth. Did you see this?
Who was recently cast? Someone else. Just recently. Was it Andrew Garfield or why is it? Because there was something that came out a couple of months ago.
Oh, Christoph Waltz, I believe.
And somebody else. Maybe it was Oscar Isaac or something. Yes, I saw. It was in the news anyways. I saw it on the Twitter.
I'm so excited. But I found out today it's actually not based on the book. It's based on some kind of comic.
Exactly. So that's what the cast already seems too big, and I don't want to see a popular. I don't know. This is weird. Seeing a popular actor as like we already had Robert De Niro as Frankenstein.
We don't talk about that.
I know that. It's just something about is that what we're getting? Like, is Oscar Isaac just going to be Frankenstein? Like,
no, he's
Frankenstein's monster. Like,
if we go by the art, he's Dr. Frankenstein because in the art he is identical almost. Like,
okay,
really
so then
close.
Andrew Garfield would be the monster.
Yes.
Like
Andrew Garfield would be the monster, which I thought would be the reverse of that. Because Andrew Garfield comes off as kind of the original Dr. Frankenstein to me.
Right.
But no, from my understanding, Oscar Isaac is probably Dr. Frankenstein. Andrew Garfield is the monster. Mia Goth, who knows? I think
Igor.
It wouldn't surprise me. I think you could easily say she's probably the bride, but I don't know if you would do the bride in the same movie.
That's what I'm wondering. Are they not telling the story? Are they telling something else?
I'm going to try to track down the comic or book or whatever it is that it's based on. Because it's not the original Mary Shelley stuff, from my understanding.
Right.
But yeah, I'm excited about that.
I'm interested in it. I wouldn't say I'm excited yet. I'm just interested to see what Del Toro is going to do, because he in horror, like true horror, I'm down for 100%.
Oh yeah, I was all in when he was announced. Then when the cast came out, you sold me. I don't even need to see anything. I don't even need the real cast, like who they're playing. I don't need to know. Just give it to me. Eric's been watching all the Halloween movies, so this has been a fun journey because Eric asked me which ones do I recommend. And I know I gave him an overly complicated answer because I asked, well, it depends.
5, 6, and then
but he's been watching. That's cool.
Nice.
He watched Only Murders in the Building in Ahsoka, which I know we'll get to. Ian enjoyed Haunted Mansion. It was fun if you know the ride. Easy watch, but nothing amazing. I watched Monster House with my kids. That's a classic. I do like Monster House, but I feel like it's intense for kids. That's just me. Cookie says, I'm going to watch Pet Sematary Bloodlines after this. I'm going in hopeful. Oh, I forgot about. I might watch that too tonight. I wanted to see that. I haven't heard good things, but I'm interested.
Good things.
Grab says, my boys have watched Frankenweenie twice in 2 days. Which version of Frankenweenie? The live action or the cartoon?
Live action?
Yeah, the original is live action.
Get out of town.
I want to say Paul Rubens is in it. I could be wrong, though.
I only know the stop motion one. Is it stop motion or is it just cartoon?
It's just a cartoon, I think.
Okay, it's cartoon.
I don't know if I've seen the new one, which is the end. I remember the old one.
Exactly.
Okay,
Grabs.
It's one of Tim Burton's first things.
It's
a good time. I think it's very short too.
There you go.
But those are my main watches of the TV shows I'm sure we'll talk about.
So just a couple of quick little horror stuff for me. I watched Mama a couple of days ago. Andy Muschietti's, I think it's his first movie.
Okay.
He wrote it with his sister Barbara. It's got Jessica Chastain in it and Jamie Lannister, Nicola Alder Coster.
I've never seen him anything else.
Exactly. This is a weird thing. And he plays two people in it. This is also really strange. So,
Okay.
for a brief, they're just twin brothers, briefly for a moment. It's pretty good. Most of the time, CGI, whether it's bad or good, doesn't affect me. But there was something about the CGI in this movie that just didn't do it for me. But creepy kids doing creepy things are always always creeps me out.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically when they don't walk like normal human beings and they kind of crawl and do weird spider
Oh yeah,
movement,
that's always
all
good.
that kind of stuff. That
I
always
enjoyed
creeps
that.
me
Yeah.
out. Really interesting story about a guy who kills his wife, takes his daughters. They get in a car accident and get stranded in a cabin in the woods. And then 5 years later, the kids get found, and they're obviously not doing so well. And inside this house, there's this entity that they call Mama that they then bring back home with them. And obviously, insanity ensues with Jessica Chastain and Jamie Lannister and all that good stuff. So the story was really well, the spooky bits were really well, but the actual this Mama thing and the CGI just didn't do it for me. But you could see like the threads of early Andy Muschietti and like I think the next one he did after this was It Chapter 1, if I remember his trajectory, and that's what I watched before this. Actually, me and my daughter both watched Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. Which Chapter 1 is my favorite movie, one of my favorite movies of all time. Yeah.
Rumpus Room.
And one of the things that was interesting about watching Chapter 2, me and my daughter both remembered not liking Chapter 2 as much as the first one. Well, all we were consumed with was the not so good third act of the movie, where it's just a CGI fest of Spider Pennywise or whatever.
And maybe Pennywise.
Yeah, but then as we were watching it, and then obviously the death of Eddie and Richie, and not Richie's death, but the relationship that those two have, and then how it ends, and then the realization that Spider Pennywise isn't everything in that third act, as much as I remember it being.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot more than I remember, and I actually greatly enjoyed it Chapter 2, and I found the scary moments in Chapter 2 scarier than in Chapter 1, specifically the old woman that Beverly goes and visits, and she's naked and she's creepy walking in the hall, and then attacks her naked. It's very scary.
I think that scene's kind of fun though in a way, because
that's the interesting thing about the horror in It Chapter 1 and 2 is how funny it can be.
Mm-hmm.
And I even in Chapter 1 where Ben goes in the library and there's the old woman behind him getting closer and closer to the screen, and then he goes down the stairs, and then the headless like zombie thing comes down the stairs. Like, it's scary, but like there's also a really strong humor nature to it as well.
It's whimsical.
Yeah, nice word. Which I think is an interesting idea about where horror is. It's a type of scary that makes you laugh. And like that, when I was thinking about Talk to Me, that's the same kind of thing. Like when that woman is sucking the guy's toes, like it's a scary thing, but also it's like I laugh to, I don't know, make sense of it or have a different feeling about it, or to ease my own horror. Like you laugh a certain way. Do you get that from either Chapter 1 or 2 or any kind of other horror movie?
No, not necessarily, but I do think horror and comedy go hand in hand, and you usually have to have one for the other.
Right.
But I can't say there's things that I think are funny and scary.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the case of the old woman, I think it's funny when you just see her run across the hallway real quick.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be like
God.
like a 1940s fun song, like a piano song playing when she does it. But it's fun. I get what you mean though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like even the stuff with what's his name, Bowers, like he's got his buddy in the car. Like there's weird humor natures to It Chapter 1 and 2. But I'm glad that I watched Chapter 2 again. I listened to you and Phil talk about it a couple of weeks ago, and it really made me want to get back and watch them back to back, which is what we did. Me and my daughter both. That's an interesting thing as well, watching them back to back. One of the other things that I really carried over from the first time that I watched Chapter 2 was how bad I thought the CGI was on the kids' faces when they de-aged them for those flashback scenes.
They DH them?
Yeah, they de-aged Ben specifically,
I
and
did not even notice.
and yeah, exactly. And in the theater, I noticed it a lot, and it really bugged me. But then watching it in at home, it didn't bother me as much. Maybe because I knew it was going to happen, and I just was focused more on the story. That's the other thing. The story of both of those movies. Chris, are you still there? The story on both of those movies are just so good. You know, the idea about growing up and not forgetting your friends. You know, I'm a sucker and a sad sack for growing old. Movies about growing old and forgetting who you are and forgetting your friends and forgetting your hometown. So
well, Ben. I mean, you grow up and you become a multimillionaire, and apparently you work out more than you eat.
sexy Ben.
It's very different Ben.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm glad I watched chapter 2 again, and I had a much better go around with this one, and I love it a lot now. Still, I like chapter 1. It's still, again, one of my favorite movies of all time, but those movies are so good. Good.
I love basically all 4 versions because, the first one is in 2 parts as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think this is why you laughed? Like Cook says, I always jump scare into laughter, mostly to calm my nerves. Do you think it's something like that?
I think that's exactly, I think that's exactly what it is. It's just like, oh my God, like something that scares you, you can either cry and it can creep you out, or you laugh and you try and get through it. Laughing or talking about things help you relax a little bit more. Like, I think a picture about me in a social situation where I have no idea what I'm doing. You just sit there and you laugh and you smile and you say, hey, this is great. I'm having a great time.
You become that meme with the dog and the coffee cup.
Exactly. This is fine. Exactly. I think that's exactly it, Cookie. It's just you're trying to, your brain and your body are trying to get through the situation as much as possible. Chris, will you be watching this movie?
Will you watch the Just Believe It's apparently terrible? That is the movie I saw months ago when I couldn't talk about it. I don't think I'm still supposed to talk about it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to see it. The reviews have made me think they didn't listen to any of the feedback, so I don't know if I want to watch it again. I didn't mind it, though. I thought it was fun. Phil's going to wait on The Exorcist. Zeddy says Mike Flanagan does the horror genre. I like best. Somebody else says I've heard House of Usher is his best yet. Mike Flanagan is for the inevitable next Halloween movie. I don't mind that at all. I won't do anything to cover up eyebrow loss. I guess. I'm glitching. I'm in the wrong multiverse. Yes, I'm like Loki right now. Would you want to see so are you interested in Welcome to Derry? Like, are you excited for that?
Yeah, and that's the interesting after chapter 2 is, and even after chapter 1 where they go to Ben's house and he's got the history of Derry like in his room. Yeah, heck yeah, I am. And like you and Phil talked about this when that scene where Bowers and his group of cronies are beating up Ben and that car drives by. Obviously, there's a balloon in the back of the car, so it's probably a Pennywise type of deal. But yeah, the history of Derry is crazy interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm pretty.
If that's what the show is. I don't really know what kind of show it's supposed to be.
I don't think we know yet. We just know it's a prequel of some sort.
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if it's like an anthology type of.
No, I from my understanding, it just shows the history of Derry. Like, it takes place probably 50 years before or something. And it's just the town and how horrible it is.
Nice.
I imagine Pennywise has to show up somewhere.
You got to.
Yeah, I don't know why you would do it without him.
Even
if it's not Bill Skarsgård.
Yep.
I don't know what the Peace Up, A-Town Down. I don't know what that is.
All right. Do you want to finish off some read and watches? Do you want to talk about Ahsoka and Only Murders?
I like
we'll do our review of The Devil That Wears My Face after that. You want to do that?
We can do that. I don't have much to say about. Well, I think I just have like a couple words about each.
I would have the same, so we can make it quick if you want to do that.
Yeah, because I want to talk about The Devil That Wears My Face. Only Murders in the Building. I love the finale. I think they really stuck the landing. It was a little predictable, which has not been the case for the other 2 seasons. But I also think they kind of fed it to us in the episode before.
Right.
Which was fine. I don't mind. I really like the finale, though. I am genuinely surprised we're getting another season. Not because of the quality of the show. Just how are they going to keep this going?
Right.
But enjoyed it.
Yeah, that I would say the same. I liked the finale. I didn't love it. A lot like you, I thought a lot of it was kind of predictable, and the stuff that happened in the episode before and that great episode before that really cemented me how good the show was. I didn't. It's almost like I didn't need the finale, aside from setting up the next season. But I liked it. I just liked it. I didn't love it as much as you did, but yeah, I'm interested about that fourth season as well. Yeah, because like this season they did something a little different with the setting and the back and forths and even some of the episode structure. But yeah, how can they keep telling the same story over and over again and still make it seem fresh? Like maybe they'll just rely on the great characters and the great acting and the great writing, but after a certain amount, giving us the same over and over again just won't do it for me.
Yeah, I think they will do something to keep it fresh, and also the cast is so good; it's hard to just brush it off. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I will say though, I think it's time for everybody to leave their Laconia.
Yeah, well, that's California was mentioned a bunch in the season finale, so I think they're heading somewhere else.
Yeah, we'll see, but good stuff.
Yep.
What do you think of Ahsoka?
I don't care about Ahsoka. If there's a second season, I will not be watching it. I was frustrated by the season finale. One of the best characters that I've seen in Star Wars, Balin. What is he doing? Where is he going? And why is he doing it?
Why is Gamora?
Why? And this great big old Grand Admiral Thrawn, big bad guy. Where are you going? Like, what are you taking with you? I have no idea what's happening, and I don't know if I care. I don't know. I did not enjoy the finale. I did enjoy the later half of the season overall after really liking the first couple episodes. But I just did not enjoy, where most of the characters were left off by the end of it. So no, thank you to Ahsoka for me.
Yeah. I feel the exact opposite. I really enjoyed it a lot. I did have a problem with the way they left Balin, mostly because Ray Stevenson isn't around anymore.
Yes.
Which is not their fault, of course.
Sure.
There's nothing they could do about it. It's just kind of strange, like, what was the plan there, What were you guys planning to do? Do we still get that? I don't know. Because that's the big what if in this thing. Other than that, I thought the finale was really good. I enjoyed a lot about it. I like the way Thrawn is used. He's basically like the Emperor in a way because he's very hands off and just orders things to happen, and they happen. We got some cool lightsaber stuff, which always makes me happy. Space Jesus was cool in this one. I like the way it ends. I like where Ahsoka and Sabine are at the end of this. I think that's a good place. I am left with some questions, though, but I'm assuming we'll get another season or a movie, so I'm cool. I think Ahsoka was a solid series.
Thanks.
Ian says, Ahsoka finale was some of the best Star Wars content ever. Balin was set up for the next season or movie. Yes, but there's the elephant in the room.
And also the idea of, like, we talk about this all the time. I think, I can't remember when you were talking about this recently with someone, either on DC Unlimited or something else. The idea of just making a good something rather than setting up the next thing.
That's what this does.
Make a good season. Like, why? There's so many questions at the end of Ahsoka, so many, and it just bothered me. And like the addition of space, stormtrooper zombies, that was just I couldn't stand it.
Really?
I didn't. It just did not do it for me at all.
That's
it lot just bugged me about the last episode, and it was just a culmination of all of the things that it slowly built up for me as the season went along.
Grab says, I don't know why they didn't give him one in the finale. I enjoyed the show, but man, that finale left too much on the table. I could agree with that. I think you do too, essentially.
Yeah, 100%. Too many questions left over and they didn't give any answers to. They didn't even ask the questions.
No,
they just left these people somewhere that I have no idea where they are and what they're looking for and what they're trying to accomplish.
Ian's comments is interesting here. Ian says Balin was at the statue of the Mortis god was a huge answer. To people who know that, yes.
Who
And that's,
are you talking about?
and
I have
that
no idea what that is.
I think that's the sum of the show in a way.
Yeah.
This wasn't made for like Emmet and I, who haven't really gone into all the lore of Star Wars.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it till this show that I'm a casual Star Wars fan.
Exactly. That's exactly right, Chris.
We didn't realize that. And so the show really doesn't do anything to help like us out.
Mm-hmm.
We have to go do the homework to figure things out,
Mm-hmm.
which, we're a great example. It worked for me. It didn't work for you.
Sure.
Yeah, but even then, I would have liked some information, but I'm fine with not having it because I can do the homework. I can wait for the movie, the show, whatever. But the point is, they really said, oh, well, we're going to assume everybody has watched 10 years of animated stuff. We're going to assume they've read the books with Thrawn. And I don't particularly think that's a way to make content or movies or TV series. Because imagine if we got let's say a Batman movie where it opens with Dick Grayson in the bat suit standing on a gargoyle saying, I wonder what time period Bruce is in now.
Yeah.
If they're doing like Battle for the Cowl, but they drop us in the middle of it.
Right.
We would get it like, oh, this is amazing. Where's the Jason Todd Batman?
Yeah.
But the average viewer is going to be like, what the hell is going on? And who is this guy?
Well, I think we saw a little bit of that with The Flash as well.
Yes, we did.
Answering these questions and asking questions that people have no idea why you're asking them and giving us answers that people aren't asking for in general. So it's a tricky situation on how to do it. How to tell a whole story. And like you said, maybe the next movie or season of this is going to answer all of those questions.
We don't know.
But as of now, there is no answers to these questions.
Crab says the whole season was you two go there, you two come here. That's kind of what it was. But it's an interesting one, I think. An interesting discussion on how to handle established IPs. Cook says, amen. My thoughts exactly. It's hard being a casual watcher of this stuff. Even like another example that might even work because it happened. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. If you did not watch WandaVision, you didn't really understand that movie.
Yep.
Even if you did watch WandaVision, they didn't connect very well. So there's that. Ian says the OT gave you movies with characters that had no backstory. Empire Strikes Back with a cliffhanger where we had no idea what could happen next. That's true, but this was different. This is showing you established relationships, established storylines that we don't know. I mean, showing us, oh, this is a character who's fighting for the rebellion with Leia. Okay, we could buy that. That's easy. This is a character she's never met before in Luke Skywalker. Got it. Han has a pet dog that's 8 feet tall. Cool. None of these were existing storylines that we had to piece together ourselves or, again, go do the homework for.
Yeah, and we know where Han was going. We know he's going to Jabba the Hutt. We know why he was being taken there because he owed Jabba something. It's a tad different, but I understand the idea, and that's the constant thing about things when people were talking, criticisms about all of Star Wars. But it happened, what happened in A New Hope and what happened in Empire Strikes Back, and the difference is we have those stories now. So, like I said, in 2 years we may be saying, "Oh, Ahsoka was great because of everything that came afterwards." But right now, I can only review or have my thoughts on what we currently have. I can't say, oh, Ahsoka was good because Empire Strikes Back was good.
If we didn't have A New Hope and we only had Empire, we would be having the same conversation.
Exactly.
That's
but because there's more. Yeah.
We had the setup. We didn't have A New Hope and you just had Empire. You would not, or even let's skip Empire, A New Hope and Empire. Just have Jedi.
Yeah.
You just watch Return of the Jedi. That is kind of what Ahsoka was to the casual viewer. And I understand a lot of people are more steeped in this. They are more well-versed. That's cool.
Yep.
And I love that the show worked completely for you guys.
100%.
Because it did work for me too. And, to some extent worked for you. But I just wonder if there needs to be another look at how to tell these stories.
I think from what I saw, the ratings were very good and the viewership was very good. So it must have done something right for a lot of people.
It's entertaining.
For me, not so much. So,
And I still stand by. I think it set a new standard for storytelling in Star Wars.
Nice. There you
Even if I didn't understand all of
go. All right, Chris, let's talk a little bit about a comic book here.
Let's do the Clippy thing.
So probably I want to say about a week ago, Chris, you were graciously provided by David Pepose himself, a comic called "The Devil That Wears My Face," #1. It's from Mad Cave Studios, written by David Pepose and drawn by Alex Cormack, with letters from Justin Birch. I barely knew that this comic was a thing. I think, much like you often do, I saw a cover of it a little while ago. And thought, oh, that looks kind of cool. Mad Cave Studios is a very hot comic book publisher right now. If you know anything about their series Nottingham, that had, I want to say, like 7 prints of its first issue and did incredibly well. David Pepose is a writer on the rise big time. He writes for Marvel. He does his own indie things. So, Chris, you were given this comic. I think you... we're talking about it on Twitter, maybe with Chris from Lost in Comics. I don't really know. We were provided with issue #1 for The Devil That Wears My Face. It's a story about exorcism and priests and devils and demons and all that good stuff. Chris, what are your thoughts about the Devil That Wears My Face?
This is one of those cases where I saw the cover and said, I got to read that.
I knew it.
I knew it. I got to read that. And also, I like the writer, David. How did you pronounce his last name?
Pepose.
Okay. I'm sorry if I get that. If I couldn't remember. Anyway,
I looked it up before we came on. So
I was supposed to do that. You're good. I like his stuff because he's been writing Moon Knight City of the Dead. Mm-hmm. I've been really enjoying that. And I've read some other stuff from him too. So I really wanted to check this out, and I'm glad that I did. It's really, it's very dark. It's darker than I guess as the name would suggest.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty out there, but it's really well written. It's a lot of conversation, which sometimes I think is an issue for books. Mm-hmm. And I did get a little lost here and there just because there's a lot of character talk.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not to the point where it lost me at all. I was still into it, and the art is very cool looking. It's kind of unique in a way, I think, because it's so shadowy. You know, there's a lot of black in this book.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of black, a lot of cool designs, especially the ending, which kind of reminded me of one of my favorite books recently, which was The Me You Love in the Dark.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that bit about it, and I just thought it was an entertaining book.
I love this book, and it's the perfect horror comic for like this time of the year. I have to mention this about during this time of year, people watch certain movies, horror movies. I'm getting into the idea about reading certain comic books. Mm-hmm. This is a perfect one. I like 2 pages in, there's an incredible visual of very bad things happening to people with this demon, or I guess he calls himself Legion, who's kind of imprisoned in the depths of some church or monastery somewhere. The visuals at that moment, I think it's 3 or 4 issues in, 3 or 4 pages in, and then towards the end where there's this big climactic, real heavy duty kind of exorcism happening. Where it's interesting you said The Me You Love in the Dark, where I think they were eyeballs.
Yes,
like that's exactly what I was eyeballs.
Talking about.
This is like bubbles or something. Weird, bloody, blacky demon legion bubbles. I don't know what bubbles. They are. Yeah,
not sure grandpa's bubbles.
It's exactly. So yeah, the start of the book, it hits really heavy right off the bat, and then at the end of the issue, it hits you over the head again with some really heavy duty stuff. I do agree about that. A little bit of a middle part where there is a little bit too much talky, too much priest doing talky, that kind of thing. But it helps kind of understanding by the end when we see what happens to the people doing the talky.
It's necessary.
Yes, I would agree. But yeah, I loved it. I thought it was so good. And I read this without reading the description of the book. If you read the description of the book, it basically gives away this first issue.
Oh, does
So
it?
I'm glad that I didn't read it. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. If you read the description on League of Comic Geeks, it basically says what happens
Oh,
to the priest and everything. So I'm glad that I didn't read it. This was one, that I was interested in because of the art, because of the writer, and didn't really do much research about it. But I'm so glad that I did. I'm very grateful that David sent this book for you to read, because I loved it. I can't wait for the second issue. I'm interested to see where it goes. Um, you know, because where it ends is interesting, because the two parties, the Legion and then the other priest, are very, I don't know, it's not like he's really hidden away, this priest or whatever, who the body swapping is happening here. So I'm wondering where this is leading to. Like, is the Legion going to take over the commune, or
yeah,
whatever? I'm
that'd
very
be fun.
happens here, of how much of the body doubles and the body snatching is played out through the series. How much how much are other people going to know who this Legion character is, and who he is not? So I'm really interested in the mystery of it. I'm
Hmm.
interested in more of the horror and the death and the blood and all of that good stuff.
Oh, there's a lot of good stuff when it comes to that.
Yeah.
The artist did not hold back when it came to the
Mhm.
gore and whatnot. And I
Yeah.
think that adds to, because you see a lot of horror comics where the gore and like the horror aspects are,
Hmm.
I don't want to say they're cartoony, but
Hmm.
they're lighter in a way.
Hmm.
Like, okay, somebody's got beheaded, but it's kind of cool looking. This is different. This is ugly.
Hmm.
I don't mean that, oh yeah, it's terrible art. No, it's just hard to look at, some of it.
Hmm.
And particularly the eyeball or the bubble thing. And there's
Hmm.
also like a close up in one of the first pages of the character's eyes, and they're just red.
Hmm.
It's really unnerving.
Hmm.
I like that a lot too. And I think the actual, like, the basis of the story, this rich guy's son is possessed, and there's nothing he can do.
Hmm.
Nothing. So he's just
Hmm.
calling upon any religious person he can to help.
Hmm.
And we've seen what happens to them.
Yeah, well, one of my favorite things, and we were talking about this a little while ago, but the possession idea of horror movies taking over, and how we often don't think about possession as one of them.
Mhm.
One of my favorite things about The Exorcist, the original, is when the exorcism is happening and the demon just laughs at them
Yeah.
and doesn't care. I love that. That's carried over in this book as well. Like, this Legion, this demon is not scared of
Mm-mm.
whatever the priests are throwing at him. I love that, and that's what also makes it scarier when the demon is not scared of what's coming, because he knows what's going to happen if they
Right.
even try. I love that idea, and so yeah, I love being scared in a comic book when, like you said, and sometimes the violence isn't really thrown at us, but in this sense, the horror is thrown at us with some of the art and the visuals and the darkness of it, but then the blood and the guts and that is
Just the
really,
story.
yeah, and exactly the story. It's got everything working for it. That's what I
Mhm.
really loved about this book.
It hits on every note that it needed to.
Hmm.
It is a perfect spooky season read. Just a really, you can read it anytime. It's great. The
Hmm.
ending also really stuck out to me. Like I've said it, I think over the last two shows, I love when a horror movie ends on a sad note, or like a just
Right.
terrifying note. This ends that way, and
Hmm.
so it gets huge points for that. There is no
Hmm.
happy ending here for anybody yet.
Yeah. Definitely not.
No, and I don't think there will be.
That's an interesting idea as well. Is the non-happy ending? I don't see how it'll happen. But I'm interested to see what happens. Like, are they going to kill it? Like, I think, if I remember, you messaged, or you were talking with David on Twitter, and he said it's just 6 issues.
Yes, it's a 6 issue
So we'll see what
run.
happens going forward with it. But very good first issue. The second issue comes out November 22nd. So we've
Mhm.
got a wee bit of a wait
We do.
for it. But yeah,
But thank you again to David for providing us with the look for it.
100%. Yeah, we had a great time with The Devil That Wears My Face. One of the better comics first issues that I read this year. And Chris, we were making our list. There's going to be a lot of horror on our list this year, and this is definitely going to be one of it.
We've been in a horror mood this year, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's right. Yeah.
But it's also getting really positive reviews. So
Hmm.
if you guys want something a little bit darker, something
Hmm.
exorcism is all the rage right now.
That's right, exactly.
If you want some in that vein, please check out this book. We think you'll like it. Also, Cookie was on a podcast, How Did We Get Here? And they also did a discussion based around this book, so you guys can check that out too. If Cookie wants to throw the link up, we'll get it up there for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, so Chris, that's our thoughts on The Devil That Wears My Face.
Hold on. I gotta take the banner off because then it goes over.
No, I know it's a lot of work pressing those buttons. I get you.
No, it's just in succession. I gotta do. Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Ruben, I did read Summer World Tree, but I kind of forgot about it. I've been too busy, but I'm gonna catch up with it. I think you've been caught up, right, Emmet?
Yeah, I'm all caught up. Issue 5 is the latest issue that's on. I think it's on a break right now, Ruben. So you have lots of time to catch up on it for sure.
Horror for the win. I agree, Phil.
100%. All right, Chris, anything else you want to chat about before we get on out of here?
Nope. I think that it... Loki was fun. That's it.
That's good.
Yeah. It was a good week. I'm sure we'll have another good week coming. We have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting now that Ahsoka and Only Murders are over. I'm going to see if I can catch up on a couple more things. I still haven't watched Sweet Tooth Season 2. Yeah, but I got some more horror stuff to watch. I'm not sure what I'm going to watch, though. I mean, keep trying to look for things that I haven't seen before, and that's why I was happy I found Mama, because I hadn't seen that one. So I might watch a couple that I have seen, but if anyone, let's skip right over that comment. Yeah. If anyone's got any recommendations for newer horror movies, I know Chris, you were talking about Cobweb before, so I wanted to see if I can get to that one. I wanted to get to the that Pope's exorcism one with Russell Crowe.
Oh yeah.
They didn't get around to that either. But if anybody has any recommendations, please send them to me about newer horror movies. Newer horror.
Monster Squad. It's only 30 years old.
Yeah. All right, Chris, hit us up with some plugs.
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Twitter at thatChrisEvan0. You could also follow the podcast I do with my buddies Philip Walsh and Anthony Caruso over at DC Unlimited Pod on Twitter. As always, I would love it if you guys would follow this show at G of the Geeks. Emmet is much better with the rest of the plugs, so he will take over.
You can follow me on Twitter at EmmettDavis7. Gathering of the Geeks is available on YouTube. And wherever you get your podcast, just search Gathering of the Geeks and you will find us. I want to say thanks to Phil, Eric, Cookie, Ian, Grabs, Ruben, Zeddy,
Sons of
Mjolnir. Thanks for popping in. We appreciate it every Sunday that you guys do that. And I'll mention again, we're getting very close to our 75th episode, and we're going to do something, I think, maybe.
I'll get on it.
Yeah. And so it'll be kind of fun to just get some people together and celebrate doing 75 episodes, which is kind of cool. So thanks, guys. Thanks so much for watching, as you do every Sunday. So in saying all that, for Chris, and I'm Emmet, and we gather on Sundays.
Have a great week, everybody.